What's your plan? I know nothing. Voice chat knows. What stock was that again? What is up, everybody? Hope your weekend's going good. This is Unk coming at you guys with the first episode of Read the Room from the new RTL Academy. Me and the professor did a quick overview today of the plans, and also did about a 2 hour voice session on the plays. Um, Appreciate everybody that made it. This is just a quick review of the nuts and bolts of what we are talking about for the week here to come. A quick market overview. Personal opinion is we're definitely in the point where things are I won't say correcting, but they're figuring out where they're going to be, which I love. There's a lot of range off this level. Some things are going up, some things are going down. Trying to find a fair market value right now as we adjust to the new value of the dollar, the new world economy, and everything else. So it's kind of figuring that out. Definitely like where we are over the next couple of months. I think this is going to be the area to buy when you do look back, in 4, 5, 10 years. This will be the time when you want to say, yeah, I got into X, Y, or Z. So let's just get into our plays here. Pretty much going alphabetical order, no order of importance. A little bit of mix pennies, ER plays, good flow plays, and the combination of the two. So without further ado, let's get started. First one we have is a Build-A-Bear. Number one thing I always like to judge stocks and companies on is product profitability and name recognition. You've been to the mall, you know these $45 bears. They're out there. Got a nice trend here. It's definitely going in the upward direction currently. This is an ER play this week, I believe. We have the two price zones picked out here on the chart. You can see that's where I'd like to add. The flow does suggest that this will reach back into the 20s, 24, 25 range. Good spot in my opinion. To add shares is right in here. So this will also be an ER play, whether you're in before or after. Totally up to you, but just like the look of this chart, especially from a historical standpoint. It's been really resilient here in the last couple months in a horrible market. Next we have Boxel, crappy penny stock based on, or excuse me, the company's built around schooling, like touchscreen platforms, integrated platforms for schooling. Kind of was a COVID play, thinking that we'd have virtual classrooms. The thing I like about this company is they are very unique in their product and they have a great PR department. Just kind of spoke last year about what the spike was here and the continuation of that play, or excuse me, the spike right here last year and the continuation of that play, why that happened. Getting kind of cheap, and we're showing support around the dollar level. This is definitely one I like to set up from. I believe I said $1 to $1.10. When 130 holds, we'll readjust. This price you can't see here is 221. Just a penny play. I think we're a little early on here. And this one from the option side, I believe this is Black Rifle Coffee. Kind of a cult following on the product. New IPO, low float, heavy insider owned. Fits that theme to a T. All three boxes are checked pretty good on there. Love this setup. Anything I can get in the range of the 17 to 18 range, I love. Kind of want to stop adding before 20. 16 would be my lowest spot. This just has a setup a higher low. You can see it with the recent IPO. A lot of charts you look like this from the IPO release, like Dave, and there's a couple others that this really reminds me of. But this first higher low, we're just trying to catch on to it again on a low float stock. Gambles. I should have wrote a trend line on this one. I love this. This is an ER play Monday and Tuesday. We want to watch this Monday and Tuesday. Kind of get a feel for it. I like the company in general. They've been reporting well. Um, and they're in the food service industry. It's just something that we think is going to run. So this one should be a volatility on the option side for the week, playing that volatility range. Um, and depending on the report from the ER, we'll see where we get on the share side. Right now, there's not really a safe place to add from the share side. We kind of wanted to add in the low 40s, but the options should be more offer more opportunity for a trade than the shares currently. But if this does get good ER news, might be something we want to hop into a ride back up to the 50-55 range. DocuSign, also another ER play. When does it die this week? That's what we think this might be it. The 91 is the level we had on the chart. We kind of played this zone for a while, but it's never held. Seeing what we get around 91. Only other option, which we didn't chart, is 75, but really think the 91 is going to stick. Personal plan is to let support form there, come back up, confirm the 100 psych, and play that to this 145. That would be my plan. 30-40% trade. But again, this should be another one. If they get decent ER, they should move this back up into the range or knife it down through the range. Either way, should provide opportunity this week with that news. EVgo is another charger that it seems like people are a little late to the party on. Anything below 10 for me here, I love. Even playing the 20% back to the 12. We do have some $12 calls which line up perfectly with it. Just something I really like to see on EVgo. Anything sub 10, I think we're good right now. And then when we get back to 12, or if we test 12, I'd like to check the flow again. Just a little better play in my opinion than the plugs and the blinks and those ones, because and even beam, because they're just a little less known. There's a lot of range back here, so keep an eye on this one, especially if blink does have good ER and it kind of pushes the sector. Meta materials, here we're going to have to zoom in on this one a little bit. Coming down here, you can see the taps right off of this 142. It's just a great spot in my opinion. There's some $2 puts sold on this, which is kind of telling that we're definitely underwater here a little bit, as well as some 3 and 4 in April. So even half of that, if we get the 3 level instead of the 4 level, that's 100% here. I would take even half of that. Personally, my goal was back to the 240 range, but it's looking like this might offer a little bit more. I really like this zone. Adding 140 to 150 seems like a real safe play right now, especially if you're just planning on taking your percentage. Mullen, we talked about how this volume profile looks, what that means to the overall chart and trend, and how it would affect the range back to the top end. For me, this is still a wait and see. It's too much going on here, way too much selling. Until these candles get under 100 million on the sell here, I'm fine with hanging out in this. Talked about averaging down a little bit and why not to do it immediately, especially if you have high conviction in the play. Everything still lines up for this to give some decent range with when volume comes back in and or shorts start to cover. Still highly shorted. I've been watching those numbers daily, and they've let up, but they're still there. They're still in more than they should be, in my opinion. This Ouster Inc. is a LiDAR company. Wasn't super thrilled with the way this chart looked when we started talking about it. I do like trading around this level. What really got me is when Professor mentioned there was $10 to $15 calls and potential for buyout on this company, which makes total sense at this point in time. So down here, with this this is a good long-term ad in my opinion, just because it has that aspect where it could either be bought out and or they get a contract on their thing. Price targets are still really good on this thing. There's plenty of range. even back to the $5 mark right now seems like a good spot. So this is a one line chart. I have the 352 kind of trade around that. Seems like the best level of support on the chart currently. But man, the amount of room up on this is pretty noticeable. Play, one of the first stocks where me and the professor knew we were onto something here. Um, Kind of sat in this zone. Let me zoom out a little for you. Kind of sat in this zone here for the better part of the year. I like this stock, kind of touched on it. Very few stocks you're going to find that started 2020 at a price and they ended similar or higher. Usually we got this big old arc and then back down and we're continuing. It's pretty much held that year level all the whole time. We played it off the last ER, the 29.99 special, as I like to call it. You never forget your good trades. It's how you can tell really good traders or people who are really trading. Either way, they remember all their trades. It's important, just important little lesson to know. Like the knowledge of stuff you've been through will help you in the future. So um, this one, just check this 46. The flow says 45, 46 is where we're going. Um, I like this long term. Anything you can get around the 40 to me is really good. I don't see us dropping back down to this 33. 40 to 45 is still 10%. That fits my plan. So maybe you need a little more dip to get your percentage. But this one for me is real easy. And then when we flip this 45 line, 46 line, 60 will be back in play. And if you can keep any free shares or have a position at that point in time, this will just be a good safe play for your account. Dave and Buster's, adult Chuck E. Cheese, basically. I'm not too familiar. I mean, I've never been anything like that, but I do know people that like it, and the business model itself seems to be um, doing pretty well. So um, either way, there's a couple ways to slice this apple, but this one's looking pretty good right now from both Flow and TA. Party City, this one's a little, I think we're just early. The Flow side has $4 and $5 calls. We just haven't broke this downtrend yet. 284 stands out on the chart. So I'm just looking for some confirmation reversal, and at that point in time, I'll see if there's enough range back to the $3 or $4 mark for me. Or excuse me, the $4 and $10 mark. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of looking for um, that to hold. I got that note. I apologize. I got that note all messed up. The 410, $4 and $5 call. So the April $4 and $5 call. So I want this. My goal would be the 4, maybe 425. So I need this to create enough range back that 285 meets my ratio demands. I just think we're early, and we have a strong flow read on this one. So definitely don't want to let this one get back up without us, but we still need a little bit more range in my opinion. Peloton, man, this 23 line on Peloton, as Peloton, whatever you want to call it, has been great. We got 21 puts being sold pretty heavily, which is kind of just establishing a floor, showing us what we see here. Long term, though, I think this thing's back to 30 here real soon. So, excuse me, any ads that you get down in this range should be good. 23s, 24s is what I'd be looking for. Yeah, this thing is just overly beat down. We talked a little about the TV and product. The TV product coming out and probably not having much in the way of like supply chain issues, because it's basically a TV with software. The software is more of the new tech that's coming out. So I look for this one really to hit the ground running when that product is on the market. And I talked about Riot, Bitcoin, kind of how the Bitcoin setup would work. 42 is the number we're looking for the Bitcoin. Riot is the best one in terms of the flow. It has $17 to $20 in play, which you could get a pretty decent percent from below 15 if it does go up to the 20. I like this more as a day trade scalp or Bitcoins above 43,000 scalp. This one and Hut would be the two Bitcoin plays we like right now. Hut's not on here, but I will throw it on the list. For the hot list people, pretty much everyone knows what we're looking for on that chart. Um, but they're very similar indeed. These guys do have the earnings coming up, and they usually report really good because their earnings are around newly mined Bitcoin. They're producing coin, so they usually come out of ERs pretty good. I just want to keep an eye on this one because it has the best flow setup currently. Since talked about drawing too many lines, I didn't talk about how my colored lines are basically my personal fib lines, but totally different topic. Love this 82, 83 range. The options say $4 calls right now. I just want to play this thing back to 240, 250. That seems like enough for me. Not trying to take too much off this, but this is a total overreaction on getting approval of a great product. Range is there, flows there. I would definitely stay on this one probably the next 2 weeks. Try to move back to that 250 range. You got shop here. Shout out to the professor calling the $600 level. Here we are. I really didn't think we'd fall right through a support that I had. You can even see on the chart there's kind of 2 or 3 spots right here that are super supporty, but it just said no right through it. So the $500 is next. Really don't see that happening here, but we do need some confirmation eventually of holding bottom. It just hasn't really found any support. But the range on this thing has been brilliant, so we're going to continue to stay on it. You can totally see it getting in the zone and just saying no. And I think we walk down. We'll see if we're at 500 next week. This will be called though because of the range it creates. Volatility and range create profit and options 100%. So be on the watch for this one. Shares we won't call this till reversal 100%. So another ER flow read play from the professor. I like the setup. Never heard of the stock. I love the setup. You can see my two targets right there. 100 call, 90 call, what we got. And then we got 105 and 125 jumping up through the summer. So if we can get back into this range in an uptrend, establish some support here. If you can get below $100 ads, you're probably going to be doing really well. There's also enough percentage right here in the box that I have for a trade. Kind of what I'm looking for. I don't need the whole move. Just need my percentage out of the majority of the move. That's all I really look for. And this looks to offer it. So watch this out of ER, around ER this week. Should be one moving. I definitely think it'll be in the professor's trades during the week for sure. I think this will be called the options maybe more than once even. Workhorse, been on this one a little while. I think this might have been in our old home. We started calling this, but we definitely are getting the trend that we wanted to establish with this. We have April $5 and $6 calls. 3, 4, 5 are my psychological numbers for this. This is real easy to play, in my opinion, especially if we continue to get news and the flow continues to support the thesis. Find your percent on this and trade off those levels. Trade off the $3 level and the $4 level. When the $4 level confirms, trade off $4 level of 5. This one is super simple right now. As long as the flow stays with it and we continue with uptrend, I like this kind of action. And lastly, Zillow. A little beat down here. Everybody knows it. It fits our retail sector. We've been on, it fits our real estate sector we've been on for a while. Got April 60 calls and 70s in the futures, which that's a number I kind of wanted to see here, especially when I'm finding support at 50. I have 52. I really like this. I think we're good here, 50 to 52. Play it back to 60. It's 25%, depending on how you slice it. And then if we do get a bump up to the 65, um, that's when I would just move my stop loss up to 60 and ride these out in case we can make the push to 70. Maybe get another flow read. This thing for me is a great long-term play. Zillow, they're a great company. I know too many people that don't use them to check home values or whatnot, or if you're shopping for a home. Um, this has that 2020 just kill you look to it. So I think these are the ones I look for to make it back to where they were, which is right here. In the long run, in the long run, I mean over the next maybe year or so, I look for them to get back to where they were, especially in a good economy. These guys aren't going nowhere. Kind of the name recognition, industry leader, yada yada yada. And before I go, real quick, just things that I think will be kind of volatile. So if you hear stuff about them, or if you see news on them, I just want you guys to be aware. I think awareness is good. Like to have a list of things you're looking for. That way, when it crosses the street, you'll already be ready. Campbell's, we both me and the professor really think that's a great play this week with the ER fitting the food service. Rivian, Blink, they also have ER this week. Not necessarily that it's going to be great, but maybe an opportunity to trade off of overreaction. Docu, we talked about CrowdStrike. I like the cloud space, and they have ER this week. Keep an eye on them, especially if good news. And then Dick's Sporting Goods, another mall one. You know me, I'm anti-box store right now, and I think if that gets moving, it could overreact and offer a trade. So just keep an eye on that stuff. Also, maybe do some homework yourself and some names that look to be moving this week. You know, just get a head start on them. Have them wrote down so when it does happen, you already have a game plan. All right, everybody, let's have a good week. Let's trade responsibly. Stick to the plan. You know what I say? Let's be perfect before we pivot. 8 to 10 with the percentage. Then we'll up the game. But everybody, just have a good week. Ask a lot of questions. Appreciate your support in the RTL room. And let's do what we do.